Good evening. Hope this finds you doing well. Tonight I wanted to dive into some actual market data. The fact of the matter is as we get further along in this, we actually are starting to get good data off of what's actually happening out there in our real estate market. Obviously, I've spent the last couple of weeks talking about, thinking about, hypothesizing about what's going on out there, and we're finally getting to a point where we have some actual data to discuss. Essentially, if you look at it, we have 2 weeks of real good data from when this all took steps more seriously. The week ending in March 21st, that would have been the week prior to the executive order actually going into place. The executive order went into place on the 21st. And then we have the week ending on the 27th, which would have been the first week of the actual executive order in place. So a week when we were strongly advised to stay home, and then a week in which we were actually ordered to stay home. Now, the interesting thing is when we're looking at data, real estate data, we have to take a look at a couple different things. First and foremost, we typically split it into the number of transactions, so the supply and demand, how many homes are coming on the market, how many homes are selling, and then obviously also looking at pricing. Now, because we are so fresh into this, there's not too much we can look at from pricing as to where homes are closing at, because the stuff that's going under contract since this is starting is not closing, but we're looking at some other factors to get some generalizations. So first and foremost, number of transactions. When we look at the number of transactions, we're going to look at the number of homes that are coming on the market and the number of homes that are going under contract. Now, we obviously need to have something to compare it to. So right now what we're doing is we're comparing it to 1 year ago. So the same week 1 year ago. If we look at 1 week in 2019 and then we look at that same week in 2020, we saw that the number of homes that came on the market in the week ending March 21st, that number went down 34%. 34% less homes came on the market in the Chicagoland area that week. That's obviously a big number to see. Nothing surprising. We expected the homes coming on the market to go down. So that wasn't a shocker at all. The interesting part of the equation for me is the number of homes going under contract that week. The number of homes going under contract also went down, which we expected, but it only went down 17%. Now, the interesting thing about that is if you start here, and if the number of homes coming on the market goes down to here, but the number of homes going under contract only goes down to here, the number of homes going under contract is essentially outperforming the number of homes not coming to market, which is in act going to deplete our supply a little bit. It's going to tighten it up. Something important to note, something we've talked about before. Now, if I then go to the next week, this is the week of ending March 27th, we saw that the number of homes coming on the market went down 38%. So a little bit more, but not a tremendous amount more. So that was good to see, not a huge drop at that point in time. The number of homes going under contract, we did see a bigger drop that week, 34%. Once again, that doesn't surprise us too much because less people are walking through houses, and a lot of people that didn't have to be out right now have essentially put their home searches on hold. But I think what's good to note is that as we saw that the homes going under contract were still performing well enough. That's the important key here. And then we saw that there was some consistency in what's happening from that perspective. And we didn't see a huge drop off from the 1 week in which we had things going where we were just advised to stay at home to the secondary week of where we had an executive order in place. That's all real positive news in my aspect. The other things that are interesting related to price, we saw that the number of homes that had a price adjustment in this last week and in the week before, both weeks had similar amounts of price adjustments. The important thing to note about that is it was actually similar to every week prior to that in the last 2 months. What that tells us is that the number of price adjustments did not increase over the last 2 weeks. The number of homes having price adjustments did not go up. That would tell us as advisors that we're not seeing more price adjustments because of that, which would then kind of lead us to believe that pricing is holding its own on the rate that we would expect it to in a relatively normal market. The other interesting fact, which I think it makes complete sense, the biggest growth that we saw were the homes that were putting them into a temp showing status, which basically meant they're on the market, but they're temporarily not allowing showings. Once again, that makes perfect sense. We saw a rise in that one week over year of 85%. No surprise to me in that. So all in all, what this means is that the number of homes coming on the market is down. The number of homes going under contract are down, but the pricing seems to be holding itself. All of this stuff is the stuff that we've been saying for the last 30 days. And so far we're seeing even with all the reports coming out, the unemployment, everything like that, that's still, real estate is still holding its own, just like we are anticipating it to. So I thought that was some good news to share. On that note, be kind to yourself, be kind to one another, take care of yourself, take care of one another. Remember to give a shout out to all the medical personnel that you know, support small businesses when you can. Let's join together to do this. Chicago, you guys are amazing people. US, you guys are amazing people. This whole world is pretty stinking amazing. I'm looking forward to getting through all of this with all of you. And I can't wait to see some of you guys face to face when we're done. On that note, have a fantastic evening, and I will see you soon.